What's up guys, I'm Dunmere, I'm a rank 1 peak Supervive player, and I have almost 1,000 hours played in the game already. In this video, I'm going to give you guys a rundown on what I think are the best items, powers, level up order, and which ability should be put to level 3 for Shrike. Getting right into it, we're going to start and we're going to talk about the equipment first. So, Shrike doesn't really actually have a lot of variance in what she can viably use. And that's mainly because she struggles from the same problem as a lot of damage characters where non-damage items are pretty useless on them. They don't get as much HP objectively, but they also just don't really benefit from that HP that much anyway. And if you were going to go for an HP based character, you should just play one of the other ones, right? But a character like Shrike doesn't get as much value from some of the other damage items options either. Like for example, the Omnivamp items, because she doesn't do a lot of AoE damage and she doesn't also take damage while dealing damage. She isn't a character that's built to do that. And if she's taking a lot of damage, then she's just gonna die, right? So you're not looking at things like that, and that's why you're gonna see those ones pretty low on the little tier list here I have of item power. Having said that, there are a couple different little builds I would recommend for her here, and they all are going to orient around the amplifier, right? The amplifier is just like, it's just absolutely ridiculous. Amplifier makes it so every time you use one of your abilities, that ability starts with an extra 5% cooldown reduction. So you have 22% base with amplifier, then an additional 5%, and then an additional 5% for every time you use it at that same ability in a row. That can stack up to 10 times, so you can get an additional 50% total, right? So 22% base plus 50% total. That makes it so your abilities are just getting like giga insane spam ability, right? You do lose that cooldown reduction, the extra 50%, if you use a different ability, but you don't have to. And so you don't have to use your dash to start stacking that one up. You can just stick around on one of them, right? And so a character like Shrike gets a lot of value out of this because she doesn't need to use her dash all that much. And she doesn't need to use her bird, the one that gives her vision. So you can just go amplifier and then just spam the ever-loving crap out of your nades at people. So that means you can use it freely, just toss it at enemies. If they aggress onto you, you'll have it back in time to peel yourself with it. And you can just like, you know, just play like you're just launching mortars at people nonstop. It's absolutely ridiculous. So the meta build is for sure going to be amplifier, and then I would recommend running Mind Blade, and then definitely meditation. Meditation boots will give you a lot of extra mana just by slowing down a little bit and standing still. You can even toss abilities still while you're doing it, and you still get the mana regain from standing still. And your allies do too a little bit, which is cool. But basically, it's just going to let you sit there and spam and spam and spam and spam. I would also recommend trying, like my only real caveat here is I'd recommend trying the build without the Mind Blade, and I would trade it out for something like Grace or Turbo Booster. It can be a little bit hard because you don't get the meditation boost to start with, so you do have to like make sure you get them upgraded before you can like really take advantage of the build. But having something like Grace can give you just a base extra 50 movement speed. Do that one rather than Turbo Booster, because Turbo Booster requires you to dash. But having your 50% or 50 extra movement speed will just give you that much extra maneuverability to let you not have to dash in case someone pushes onto you, and just give you a lot of flexibility with that. Like I said, lower than that, none of these items are really that valuable. Like I said, Turbo Booster is like a niche option if you want to be able to like get extra movement speed after you dash to like further escape, but you know, in case you take damage. That's an option. If you really want to run Mind Blade, you probably don't need meditation, so you can trade it out for, like, you don't need it, so you can trade that out for chain jump, so you can access double high grounds with the jumping, you know, 3 jumps like Mario to get up to high grounds. But other than that, I would not recommend running Overdrive. Power User is nice for the soulbound powers that mean you keep them when you die, but Shrike doesn't need powers to play well, so you don't need that. And you're not getting a lot of value out of Soul Drain, and you definitely aren't going to get like any value out of the rest of these items. So, like, don't even bother using them, to be honest. All right, so on to the level up order. For the level up of the first ability, I would recommend Dash. I think it's very useful to do this just for a couple sets of reasons. First off, dash is the absolute best one to choose in case of fighting real enemies, because it's useful to be able to escape with in case things don't go well, or just it's super valuable to have mid-fight, right? For kiting, for pushing enemies, it's just the best option. People only recommend doing something like the bomb instead for level 1 because you can insta-clear your first camp, right? But in the case that those camps get stolen by enemies, or enemies drop and you don't expect them and you accidentally click the wrong power or you click the wrong ability, you can get screwed over, right? Because you won't be able to run away, or you're just way worse in the fight. So I would definitely recommend just doing dash in general. However, for level 2, you should definitely do your bomb. This is a bomb-based Shrike build, and even if we weren't using this amplifier cheese, then we would definitely be still doing bomb here, because the bomb is actually quite powerful. From there, you can go ahead and unlock the bird next. The bird's useful for its anti-heal and for the vision, before you get your amplifier up and you stop using it, basically. Yeah. From there, though, this is where things get a little bit more tricky. If you have your amplifier up, you could consider doing your bomb level 4. It's unlikely that that will be the case. Maybe you just found it on the ground, or you're close to it and you expect to get it before level 6-ish, then go ahead and go for the bomb. But in general, you get a 3-second cooldown reduction on your dash at level 4. That's pretty valuable in the case that you need to run away and you need to abandon your amplifier stacks and all that. Having said that, at level 5, you're going to go for your ultimate. Your ultimate is still a powerful thing. Again, the amplifier build is built around just spamming the nades, but a lot of the times fights will break down, and when they break down, that's when you're going to be bursting with your other sets of capabilities, right, to win the fight. It doesn't mean you can never use your other ability. So having your ult is strong and good. At level 6 and 7, we're going to just insta-pop both of our nades, or both of the other 2 level ups for the nades, and we're going to put our nade up to level 3. You get extra damage at level 6, I believe is the exact change, 40% damage, and then at level 3 you get an additional 2-second cooldown reduction, and you can cremate wisp or easier with it, or it cremates and burns them faster. So now you have the ability to force enemies to stand on top of their wisp buddies that you down, and just burn the crap out of them and just murder their team from afar and stop them from rezzing realistically or consistently. Some people do instead go for having the trying to level up their shift to level 3, because it makes it so your ability resets on projectile hit, but that's very inconsistent and it's hard to do. So it's usually better to just dash how you need to, instead of trying to hit an enemy with it, putting yourself in some weird location, and instead just going for putting on your R&B, your bomb, up to level 3 instead. From there, the bird doesn't really get, the bird vision ward doesn't really get that much value, so instead of going for that one, we're going to go ahead and up the value on our ultimate by getting extra damage on it, up to 25% extra damage, before we then increase our bird vision and get a cooldown reduction on that one. So for Shrike's powers, Shrike has 3 core capabilities that she's looking to assist herself with. The first one of these is the ability to compensate for her relatively low mobility, especially with the amplifier build, because using powers does not reset your amplifier. So that's going to give you a lot of extra value, right? That's one of them. Having powers that set yourself up for a stronger defense and sustain you are really powerful. And then other ones that just give you the ability to see through walls are really, really powerful. So that's the 3 different types of powers you're going to see in this little tier list here. Note, it is a tier list because you're going to, when you're looking at this and you're using it, you're going to see that the lower tier powers are ones that you're going to find more easy in the game, and aren't typically as good. And so these are ones you're going to run into, pick them up, hold them until you find something better on this tier list, and you replace them over time. Ideally hoping to get these exotics at the end. Right, so jumping right into it, the powers that are really good for movement are going to be the usable ones here. This shout one, this rally, I believe it's called, or march. That's going to give you a little bit of extra movement speed. Maybe let you kite somebody who's pushing into you. Usable, not great. Abyss Specialist, I have it here. The one on the right, the Cloud, gives you a dash reset over the Abyss. It's very strong. It will reset your amplifier stacks because you do have to use it, or you have to dash. But it's still powerful and usable. But I would probably default to giving it to another character on your team instead. They probably get a lot more value out of it. But if no one else wants it, then it's pretty solid to pick up, right? Having said that, though, the wings above it and at the far right of Strong, those are going to be really, really, really useful. I honestly should have put them at the higher level, a tier above, just because you can shoot, I believe, while you're using it. They might have taken that away, but even if they did take that away, having the ability to reposition and kite from enemies while you're like not having to use your amplifier is extremely valuable with the build that we're talking about. Or like even just to traverse around the map is extremely valuable. So you're going to be looking for that. And then the highest level tier, the frog jump, is just super good because you can, if enemies jump on top of you, you can just pop it and yeet yourself up into the air and say goodbye to anybody who's nearby you, right? You can just go kite to where you need to be, completely bypass all their damage. You're safe up in the air, they can't hit you, and land where you want to go. Having said that, though, interesting little technique for those of you who didn't know about this. This Abyss Specialist power, the Cloud at the bottom, it resets the cooldowns for powers that are mobility powers if used over the Abyss, just like with your dash. So if you have Frog Jump and you have Abyss Specialist, well, jump over the Abyss and pop Frog Jump, and yep, it's free cooldown. Then you land again on the ground, so you can reuse it, and then you go and keep repeating over and over and over again. And that can be like, abused, right? So if you have this setup, like Abyss Specialist, like I said, by itself, maybe not the best for Shrike, but useful to hold on to. And then you can pick up one of these hover wings, like the hover wings or Frog Jump. That with Shrike is just like, that's a best in slot set of powers, right? So go ahead and take good advantage of that one. As an alternative, you have other ways to keep yourself from dying, and that is like areas or like locking down areas. You have things like having this laser at the bottom here, the one at the bottom right. The laser, the chonker cannon are good options for just like setting up and like stopping people from pushing you on certain angles. Those are useful because they just put up like lines of damage effectively. Bungee is really good on Shrike also because it does the same effective thing. You can put up a bungee on a side that you would be threatened by, and if anyone tries to walk through, they either have to like do a skill check and dash over it, which will stop like some ultimates that could aggress onto you, but also set themselves up for being like knocked, like if they take any damage, just being forced to hit the bungee because like taking damage in this game slows you. On top of the fact that the bungee can just be put in locations like on the edge of a cliff face, like the edge of the map area that you're at, and enemies just kind of can't get past it realistically. So this is a really good defensive power for keeping people off of you, right? And then the best one is the Kaiju Heart. That one is just a free, like, I knock back whoever's on top of me. It's just really good, and then you have a couple other powers here that are really useful for like just niche ones, right? Or like different sets of values. The Tree Prison here is powerful because you can just toss it on top of people and spam your nades on top of them, and they're stuck in that area and you can still damage them. You can't use your like primary fire shot, but you can just nade the shit out of them. That one, and then the Delicate like vision goggles here, the one on the top left, the purple eye, that will let you see people through walls, so you can just toss your nades at them nonstop. Not as good as a character like Myth, where Myth's arrows always go through walls, whereas Shrike's nade like will get hit on certain walls if it doesn't go high enough over them. So yeah. Also, you can use your Frog Jump to get high up and toss nades. It's pretty cool. Let you bypass some of those things. So these are your options, guys. Go ahead and give these a shot and test them out. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you have any questions or have anything to say, go ahead and throw them into the comments below, or come follow me on my Twitch and my YouTube when I'm streaming, and go ask them there.